How's it going, everyone? Rico here, bringing you a quick video announcement. I wanted to talk about this since the PTS, but I waited until it went live. Then I got caught up on a few things, but anyway, uh, it's not a big deal really, but I still wanted to talk about it. And it's after the whole Markarth DLC, in which they adjust all major and minor buffs and debuffs. They neglected a few things. They either neglected it, they left it as is because they thought it was fine, or they forgot about it. So I'm gonna start with some sets like Slime Crawl. It got an indirect nerfed because Minor Berserk got nerfed. And while people used it, it's not like the most popular set ever, but it did see some use. And they could have added like a line of weapon and spell damage for the two piece to make up for it, kind of like Heme Jaws, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So it got an indirect nerf, and it's a monster set. Like, it should do better than this. But that being said, some did get a buff. If we look at something like Mighty Chudan, it got an indirect buff because Major Resolve got a buff. Um, but then you have sets that got adjusted, I think, fairly, kind of like Heme Jaws, in which it will give you Major Berserk for 5 seconds before when an enemy died. But Major Berserk going down to 10% from 25%, they said, okay, well, let's give you more time. Let's give you 10 seconds per proc instead of 5. And let's also give you a line of weapon damage on your 5 piece, which I think it's good to balance it out. Now you have more consistent damage without the proc because of that extra line of weapon damage, and when you do get the proc, now you get 10%, 10 seconds instead of 5. So they just did it that way. Like, okay, we nerf the buffs, so it's less Percy, but let's give you something in return. Uh, so we have that, but then, like I said, a few items did not get that same treatment, and that goes back to um, where, right? It's a slime crawl that didn't get that, and some sets they forgot about it completely. Is it DLC? Yes. So Hag Ravens, it got adjusted before. Before it was you had a garden. If people try to go inside, it'll get knocked back, and while you were inside, you took less damage from projectiles or something along those lines. And in order to kind of help servers to try to simplify things, so they said, you know what, this set, let's just give it major protection. But this set didn't even show up at all in the patch notes, and they left it as is. I know it's not a popular set, but some people still use it. I still have some ideas for it, for example, and it just, well, does nothing now. They just left it as is. Um, it's not horrible, but I don't think people will use it the way it is, especially with such a long cooldown, and they had no adjustments, no Heme Jaws treatment. And that's just about the sets. Then if we go towards, let's say, skills, you have skills like Bolstering Darkness, which are pretty much just a defensive ultimate, and its sole purpose is to give major protection mainly. You also have a nice synergy, but it just gives major protection. That's why people would use it. And well, it didn't get adjustment. The good thing about it was you got 18 seconds, which was a decent amount of time for major protection. But after the nerf, it had nothing. Now you do have skills like the Colossus for Necromancers, in which they give it an additional 4 seconds, up from 8, since major vulnerability got nerfed, and which I think is fine, but this didn't get any buff to time. It didn't go up to like 25 seconds or anything like that. This is a skill that needs a rework, but I'm not asking for a rework, just to give it something in return when they did the major and minor buffs adjustments. So this didn't get anything returned. Now I know the Warden also under permafrost it didn't get nothing in return for the major protection being nerfed for that aspect. And uh, yes, I understand getting something back. Now it is a strong ultimate, and people use it more offensively than they do defensively. Like I said, the sole purpose of this skill is just to give major protection, and it kind of fails at that now. And it doesn't fail at it. It's just major protection is not as sought after now as before. So this is not a skill that you would just run um, that much. And permafrost is still good. It has decent damage. People will still use it for the damage. It got nerfed a few times overall. Um, I think that at least the cost could have gone down. Permafrost cost could have also gone down for a couple, ulti, maybe like 10, 20, just to make up for that major protection nerf. But yeah, that was about it. I just wanted to talk about a few things that I think that needed adjustments that they either forgot or didn't mention. It would be fun to compile these things. So if you know of any other sets or any other skills that you think that were affected by the major and minor buff, then please put it down in the comments. Again, for fun, because I doubt this also do anything about it. And I hope you found this video informative, and I'll see you in the next one.